From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Ticats Today with Brayden Neville.
On today's show, I speak with two of the latest re-signings, Hamilton's very own Tyler Ternowski, as he discusses sticking around with the hometown team, and Canadian defensive lineman Mason Bennett, who discusses his newly found training routine that is a little unconventional for a defensive lineman. It's Thursday, February 8th, 2024. I'm Brayden Neville, and this is Ticats Today. The free agent communication window continues in the CFL. However, the Ticats were able to re-sign a pair of players, receiver Tyler Ternowski and defensive lineman Mason Bennett. The Ticats also announcing that they've signed running back Antti Milanovic-Litre. Milanovic, I know they sound similar. No relation there. You need an H on the end of that, but a 7-year vet of the CFL. He spent the last season with the Red Blacks, and he'll potentially be one of those guys to back up James Butler. So a couple re-signings, a new signing. Tyler Ternowski was one of those re-signings. He appeared in 7 games for the Cats last year. He battled some injuries. He dislocated his shoulder, so he was out for a good chunk of the season, but he's been training, and he's looking stronger than ever, and he joined me to discuss sticking around in the Hammer. Joining me now is Hamilton's very own Tyler Ternowski. Tyler, congrats on sticking around in the hometown and being with the Black and Gold for another season.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Why was it important for you to stick around here in the place you grew up and continue to play for the Hamilton Tiger Cats?
You kind of nailed it. Like it's like where I'm from. It was my hometown team growing up. I was always a Cats fan. Just still living out the dream. Still have the dream, and with Scott coming in as head coach, I really respect him and his coaching style and how he approaches the game. And I think that we got a great group of guys coming back, so I think we'll be able to make a little run.
What was the difference when Scott came in with that offense? Because it seemed like things started to click right away as soon as he came in as offensive play caller.
But when Scott came in, it was a lot more like militant, I would say, which I appreciate, which I like. I love that. I've had coaches like that, and I've always had my success has always kind of come from coaches that have treated offenses and players like very militant. Like, I don't care if you like me, we're gonna win.
Yeah.
Which is like, I love that.
Playing last year, there was a couple different quarterbacks. It seemed like every week there was someone else playing at quarterback. But I want to talk about Bo Levi Mitchell and what he brought when he came in. What was it like working with him throughout that 2023 season?
It was just like the confidence that guy brings every day. Like, no matter what, like you could be in the lunchroom, film room, on the field, playing ping pong. Like, that guy's confidence is at an all-time high at all times, which is like, it's good just to have like a guy that kind of just like bleeds that confidence, and it kind of like spreads to other guys in the team too. That's definitely been huge. And just him kind of like being here in the off seasons, being able to work with him and stuff, it's definitely big.
The other quarterback on the opposite side of his career is Taylor Powell. But what did you see from him? And as a receiver, what did you see from his growth in his first season in the CFL?
TP, yeah, he came in like, I want to say like a week into camp last year, and just kind of got right in and started rolling. You could tell that he was a very like skilled player, and that you give him a guy like Bo, just the kind of that leadership, and the guy who's been there, done that before. He's won MVPs, has won championships. You give TP a guy like that, like TP is going to have a great career. He's going to develop really well.
Yeah, and it was something to see. Like from his first, I believe one of his first throws was a touchdown. So he came in with all the confidence possible. I've seen you around the stadium a lot. You're constantly working. You're constantly training. What does that routine look like for you during the off season?
Yeah, it's so I train at the stadium like 5 days a week, 5-6 days a week. I get treatment from Curry Sinclair. They've been great. Our AT staff's awesome. And I've been getting acupuncture once a week through our guy Adam. He's the best too.
Yeah.
But I work out here, and then me and David Unger, former Ticat, now Argo, we train at Soccer World twice a week.
Yeah.
So it's still pretty busy, getting in film and like getting in all like the physical work, but still having to get that mental stuff in too. Just not being in the season, like you're watching film like all the time. And then
Yeah.
off season comes and it's like there's no new film to watch. So you kind of have to like force yourself to like deep dive into stuff and like see what you didn't see before. And maybe if you did see something that you can change this or it was good and you kind of move on.
How was it training with the enemy, training with an Argonaut? Do you guys ever have some jabs with one another, knowing that you're going to be playing in those rivalry games against each other?
Yeah, Dave's my guy. Like I love Dave. He's like my best friend. So there's always a little bit of like chirps flying around, but it's always in like friendly way. It's not any malicious, but yeah, we definitely throw some chirps around for sure.
You also are coming off of an injury that you had last season that you were dealing with. How has that been in the rehabbing process behind that?
It's been good. Yeah, like so I had shoulder surgery in the middle of October
Mm-hmm.
and everything's progressing like really well. So I feel great. The therapy team's happy with where I'm at. Doctors are happy with where I'm at. So yeah, it's progressing better than we thought. So
Do you feel this is one of those off seasons where you're almost working towards something? Do you have a goal for 2024? Have you set like self goals at all?
yeah, like when it comes to self goals, it's kind of just like that stay healthy for me. Like that's kind of the biggest thing
Yeah.
for me right now is like finding different ways that I can impact the game and not really risk and not put my body in harm's way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean it's football at the end of the day, so injuries just happen. But as a like accolades or anything, I'm just trying to go out there and be the best player I can be and then the best teammate I can be as well.
You're gonna have a new receivers coach next year, Naaman Rosabal. It's a guy
Mm-hmm.
who had a pretty good career in Saskatchewan. He was able to have a successful career in the CFL. What do you think about him coming in? And is that a guy you've gotten to talk with at all? I know it's pretty recent him joining the coaching staff.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to talk to him yet, but everything I've heard from about him has been nothing but great things. I think
Mhm.
it'll be like we still have JB Jared Baines. He just
Yep.
moved to QB coach from receiving coach last year, and I think just kind of and I love JB, and I think just like a new kind of mindset with Scott coming in, and the offense is just going to be different because when Scott came in, he didn't really want to change everything and
Yep.
confuse guys. So this year, just with like a new offense, I think that it'll be refreshing to a lot of guys
Hmm.
because JB was very like very detailed, and Scott's very detailed as well, but it's more of like a don't be a robot, be like be a football player, like
Yeah.
understand like zones and like when you watch film, like see these different types of things. So I think he obviously Naaman's got a relationship with Scott, and I think it's just going to flow really well.
Yeah, and a lot of those guys in the coaching staff have all been around Scott at some point throughout the years for the most part. How
Mhm.
much of a benefit do you feel it is to have a training camp with Scott at the lead and him as head coach and as offensive coordinator? How much of a difference does that make going through training camp with that person?
I think it'll be big. Like Scott was with us in camp last year, but just kind of as like an assistant. Like
Yeah, yeah,
he was kind of just fly on the wall, give his 2 cents if like we had questions or kind of give some advice if he saw that some guys were struggling with some stuff. But kind of having him structure it's going to be different for sure, just because like we've had Coach O the last couple years,
yeah.
and with O like we like to work. Like that's one thing. Like when you come to Hamilton, like the culture is like we just work hard here every day, and I don't think that's going to change. But I do think that Scott's going to have different approaches to things,
Hmm.
which isn't bad. It will like we'll see, and I'm just excited. That was one thing when I heard about the coaching change. Like I wanted to play for him, and I didn't really get the opportunity just because of injuries last year to
Hmm.
prove myself to him or show him what I can do. But I'm just excited that this year's kind of a fresh start for me, and just come back and yeah, do what I can do.
Aside from football, what are you doing during this off season? What else? Are you a golfer or what else you got going on?
Nothing like crazy right now. Just with the shoulder, I can't be playing like basketball or
Yeah.
golfing right now, but I'm definitely swinging that ping pong paddle around.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been playing a ton of ping pong lately, so it's a little shoulder rehab for you.
Yeah, it gets pretty competitive when I've seen those guys going at it. For 2024, last question here, but what's the goal for this team? You're starting to see some pieces coming in here and some guys re-signing, but what's the goal?
The goal is the goal every year is to win that cup and
Mm-hmm.
bring that cup back to Hamilton. But there's just gonna be a lot of progress is gonna have to be made, like through camp, through the first weeks, getting kind of the chemistry back together, kind of figuring out the vibe of the team.
Yep.
And once we figure that out, and I believe that we have the right guys in place and like upstairs in the coaching room, and I truly believe that we're gonna definitely like make a run this year. Yeah, I truly believe we're gonna make a run this year and gonna put Hamilton as one of the top dogs in the CFL for sure.
I'm sure that's something Ticats fans wanted to hear. I was hoping that was what you were going to say. I was setting you up for that. But Tyler, congratulations on re-signing with the Ticats and looking forward to
Appreciate it.
seeing you around the stadium, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
That was Tyler Ternowski. Good to see he'll be back in the black and gold for next season. Before we talk to Mason Bennett, the Tiger Cats are looking for the next brand ambassadors to perform on game days and attend community events throughout the season. Auditions will be held March 3rd at Tim Hortons Field, so make sure to follow at Dance Cheer Ticats on Instagram for the most up-to-date information. And now, without further ado, here's Mason Bennett. All right, joining me now is newly re-signed defensive lineman Mason Bennett. Mason, how you doing, man?
Great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. And it's great to see that you'll be back in the Hammer for another season. How does it feel to have re-signed with the Black and Gold?
A lot of relief, kind of interesting off season. My first time testing out for agency, and just happy we could get a deal done, can make it back to the donut box.
And what can you say about this new coaching staff that's going to be coming in? Scott Milanovich is coming in as head coach, and you'll have a new D-line coach, which we'll get to. But what do you think about Scott coming in and from what you've seen from him from last season?
I'm excited. I mean, he brings a different edge to us, which I think will be interesting for this season. I think it's going to bring a lot of good out of a lot of guys, and I'm just excited to see what the team looks like.
And a new D-line coach, Glenn Young, a guy coming in with a lot of experience. Does it help to have a new, fresh perspective helping you with that D-line coaching staff?
Always. I think when you transition from coach to coach, the things you can learn is endless.
Mm-hmm.
I think having only one mentor is never a good thing. So I think adding a new coach to my resume is going to be really helpful for my game.
I want to go back to you re-signing here, but was it something that was always in your mind that you wanted to return to Hamilton somehow and get this deal done?
Oh, of course. I mean, since I got drafted here in 21, I've lived here full time. So Hamilton's home really. Here all in the off season, obviously during the season. But yeah, my family loves coming to visit me here. I love being here. I'm right in the downtown heart of Hamilton, so we enjoy it here.
How do you enjoy living downtown? What's it been like since you've started living in Hamilton? What are some spots that you like to go to?
I mean, the restaurants are endless. I got
Yeah.
to start with Lulu Shawarma, obviously like the biggest Thai Cat fans ever. If you go in there, they have pictures of all of us, and they're amazing there. Caro and James Street, hamburger can never go wrong. The list is endless though.
Would you say you've grown an attachment to the city over your time being here?
Oh, absolutely. Obviously grew up in Winnipeg, and that kind of gives me that Winnipeg feel, small town vibe. So I really enjoy it here. My family enjoys it here as well.
With this off season, what are you doing to prepare yourself for 2024 and get your body right and training wise?
Yeah, so I think looking back at the film last year, I pointed out a main weakness of mine was cardio and weight. So we took a look at that right when the season ended. And honestly, I've been running like a madman this off season. It's kind of
Really?
it's kind of my new thing. So I actually run with a running group on Saturdays. Um,
Okay.
Doing some long distance stuff. Actually, one time I was planning on doing maybe a half marathon or something, but it was a little too close to camp time. But I've been doing that. Just finished a big 10K for a little fundraiser last
Wow.
Sunday, so that was a big goal of mine. But yeah, just doing that, kind of breaking myself down, building myself back up is what we're doing right now. So working with a former teammate of mine in Burlington, Miles Manalo. So
Okay.
it's
Yep.
been great. It's been great working out with him too, and getting the body right.
What have you noticed change-wise in your body? Because I like to run as well, but what have you noticed change-wise since you started doing long distance running and doing these higher pace runs?
Honestly, my energy. You would think that doing more would make you more tired, but I find it's the opposite. I find later in the day I have more energy to do things I want to do. I feel like I go pretty early and attack the run and just get it over with. So the rest of the day I feel like I have almost like a I don't know what to call it, but like later in the day, I have a lot of energy to go do stuff. It makes you feel a little bit more accomplished too. You know, when you tackle something that's one new, two very challenging, and three something that I kind of been putting off for a little while now. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good for me mentally as well.
So, what is a running club? If for those people who don't know, so how did you get involved in this? Is it just a big group of you doing a run like throughout the city, or and
Hmm.
this is in Hamilton?
Yeah, it's in Hamilton. It's just off Lock Street. So again, like
Okay.
in the heart of Hamilton. But I actually met a guy who does it at our yoga class on Lock Street at Orr. And he invited me out after I told him that I wanted to work on my cardio. And they've been teaching me stuff about the running world is a whole different
Yeah.
universe from lifting. And, you know, obviously in the off season, we do our running and stuff to get prepared for the season, but nothing like this. So I've actually learned quite a bit about my body and ways to improve my endurance not only for running for fun, but for football. So they've been a great help to my game.
And well, last question about the running, but you said you did a 10K. What was that like mentally to do 10 kilometers? Because that's not easy. Not anyone can do
Yeah.
that.
No, and I'm 250 running 10K, so it's never fun.
That's
You might
crazy.
think it's not fun on the joints, but no, we got in just over an hour and 3 minutes. So me and my
Wow.
guy Pete, we did it on Sunday and then went and did a fundraiser yoga class. So we actually went on a new trail down I think by Lakeshore it's called.
Okay.
But yeah, so got to see all of Hamilton, and it was a good challenge to say the least.
I forgot to touch on him when we were talking about the coaches, but Mark Washington will be back as the defensive
Yep.
coordinator. What's the relationship like with him, and how excited are you to be working with him again for 2024?
Yeah, I mean, when I came in, I kind of already like knew his resume as a CFL coach. Like he's been in the league for some time now, and you know, when I got drafted here, the big thing was, you know, you're part of the Hamilton Ticat D now. Like
Hmm.
this is who we are and this is who we want to be. So I think we're gonna carry that over again this year. I'm excited to see if there's anything new. I got to see Coach Wash yesterday, so for the first time in this offseason, so it was good to see him. But no, I'm excited for camp and see what the 2024 Hamilton Ticat D will look like.
Are you working with any guys from the team throughout the offseason? Are you linking up with any of the guys who are hanging out around the city?
Obviously, I see Ternowski every once in a while.
Yeah.
He had surgery a little while ago, so I think he's doing a pretty good job at recovering there. And then former Ticat Miles Manalo, like I said, training with him and got to work out with Nathan Rourke this morning as well
Oh,
too.
wow.
So, he's in town, so that was a cool experience.
And is he a guy Nathan Rourke, a guy you can kind of pick his brain? I know it's the other side of the ball, but sometimes working with those offensive guys helps you on the defensive mindset. You know what I mean? Is that a guy you kind of pick his brain a bit?
Yeah, you can. Usually when we're at the gym, you know, or just
You're not asking him a million questions.
yeah. Maybe if we had some free time, I would have some time to do that. No, but we were asking him, you know, like differences between CFL and NFL, just those general questions. But no, we were in there working today, so.
Well, so for the rest of the offseason, you're going to be doing the running and all that, but do you have anything else going on aside from football? Let's put that aside, but anything else exciting you're doing this offseason?
You know, the run is gonna start slowing down as we get closer to camp.
Yeah.
I don't have anything big planned, but you know, knowing me, I'm sure I'll come up with something,
Yeah.
something fun to do and exciting. So, nothing right now, but we'll see. We'll see.
What should be the mindset for you going into next season?
I think it's gonna be a fresh start. Although it's, you know, we're still in Hamilton, you know, same facilities.
Yeah.
It's gonna feel like a fresh start. You know, a lot of guys that have been around are gone now. Brand new coaching staff. This is my first time having a new head coach and new D-line coach in my pro football career. So
Mhm.
it's gonna be. I'm excited for it, but it's gonna be interesting. At the end of the day, it's football. So I mean, we're gonna go out there and do our thing and do what we can. So no, I'm excited.
Well, Mason, I hope you don't run too much to the point where you're 160 coming back to camp. But you're looking great, man, and it's great to
Appreciate it,
chat
man.
with you. So we'll
Do as well,
definitely
man.
We'll definitely see you in May, man, and keep running. Maybe I'll have to join you one time, get my
Yeah, come on,
cardio.
man. Come on anytime. It's open to anyone who wants to come out. So 8:15 at the track off Lock Street. If anyone sees them, wants to come out and run with the track dogs, they call them. So
Awesome. Well, maybe we got you a few new members, Mason. Well, I appreciate you joining me, buddy.
anytime, man. Thanks for having me.